today I've got this Unitech portable Windows-based, well, Windows CE-based barcode scanner. So the battery in this thing's dead, so I just replaced it with my bench power supply. It's got a nice laser warning on the side, and it likes to beep. I have not figured out how to turn that off yet, so we won't spend much time on the software. Not that there's much to do. So it has a basic Windows CE install. You can check out some of the built-in apps, such as the scan demo, which will trigger its laser scanner. So although this thing does eventually read a barcode, it's not particularly good at it. I'm not even sure if it's able to read all of these barcodes. If you compare it to a really nice barcode scanner, yeah, no contest. This thing just reads it immediately, and this thing uses an actual image sensor so it can read proper two-dimensional barcodes, whereas this thing is limited to one-dimensional barcodes. There it goes. So as far as the software goes, it's just a Windows CE install. There's nothing on this thing. It just has a couple demo apps. You can connect to Wi-Fi, that sort of thing. Oh, it comes with Pocket Word though. So there's that. Pretty much just has a number pad, which really limits its usefulness. It's not really a really high-end mobile computing platform. So I'm just gonna disconnect the power here. It does have a little stylus that comes out of the case, and so it's a standard 680 nanometer red laser, 1 milliwatt. Even compared to a cheap laser pointer, it's very, very dim. Under here, there's just a reset button. That's not very interesting. Maybe it resets the storage. Maybe the storage is volatile. There's just a couple trigger buttons for the barcode scanner. Got the barcode scanner on the front. Battery compartment. This is a proprietary connector, which I think is used for data transfer and power. And then there's just this little hatch that opens up. And it looks like it's either an optional part, possibly another connector, maybe a micro SD card slot. Guess we'll find out when we get in here. Got the top section off, and there's a little CF card, but from the looks of this, it looks like it's actually a PCM CIA card. Ooh, 4X. And they're even using the official Lexar PC card adapter. Alright, the top's nothing special, just a big piece of plastic. They've got a little bit of rubberizing on the outside, but don't see brown PCBs too often anymore. A couple pieces of Intel flash, ribbon cable, probably going off to the barcode scanner, that loud beeper, power supply stuff, there's the PCM CIA slot, battery interface. Okay, so let me just see if I can get this whole board out. Okay, nobody go ahead and take my Windows CE Pro runtime key. I'm going to need that. So the inside of the battery compartment is a little weird. Positive and negative symbols everywhere on this thing, and it actually took a little while to figure out which connections to tap into to power it. But yeah, if you're wondering, negative. This side is positive, not this side. This doesn't do anything. I guess it's just like this to accommodate different batteries. On the other side, it's just a standard membrane keyboard, and there's just a couple wires soldered on for the power. So I'm trying to take the screen off, and it looks like this thing's just soldered in. There's a flex cable going to the display, but the backlight looks like it's got a couple soldered tabs, so I'm just gonna rip that off in this little touch panel interface. It's just monochrome and it looks pretty terrible. It's fairly low resolution. I think it's 320 by 240, give or take. But it does have this this little plastic frame around it to give it the right height. Big chunk for that backlight, which I don't even think I saw turn on. It may not even work on this one because I've never actually seen it turn on, and I was adjusting the brightness and it didn't seem to do anything. The only thing I could find was contrast control. Going through the motherboard, I've noticed that this whole section underneath the metal can is just power. Oddly enough, there's a little surface mount switch under here and a reset button. For main CPU, it's an Intel strong arm CPU. Sorry, this laser printed one's kind of hard to read. A couple memory chips. Can't find any information on this guy. Probably a display controller. This chip, again, these things are kind of hard to read. This is made by Neo Magic. Still can't find any information on this one either, except that it's a companion to a strong arm CPU. So, yeah, that's about the most information I can get on that. Battery backup, 2 battery. Oh no, it looks like a super cap. Weird that they'd have 2 things. Now, it makes several references to Wi-Fi. One thing I haven't seen is an antenna on this. Down here, there's an infrared port, send-receive pair, LCD connector. So this is the barcode sensor. It's made by Symbol. They make a huge array of barcode scanning products. So in this, I expect to see 3 basic components. The mirror, which is going to be hooked up to like a voice coil or a galvo type thing. As you can see, it moves very easily. And a laser diode of some type. And a sensor, which will probably be a line type sensor, since this only reads standard barcodes. Okay, so it looks like there's a chip-on blob, a few power supply components, and yeah, the board is probably just what's connecting the diode and everything. So let me see if 4 screws holding it all together, and let's just see if this comes apart. There's a lot of goop and stuff in there, so it may not just pop apart. It may need a little bit of force. So there's a mirror with a cutout hole in the center. Probably going, it looks like it's going through to the laser diode. And that hole at the back looks like it's a sensor. And then there's a coil here to drive this, this moving mirror. And this board is soldered to the other one. And I don't know if this will just come out, because I assume the diode's been glued inside the cavity. But let me see if I can just snap it. So there's just a little piece of paper or something there, forming a little nice round aperture. Comes out through here, through the laser, through the hole, and then scans left to right, or right to left. And the light bouncing back comes in, scanning, and gets translated to this mirror, which then goes through this hole, which goes right to this sensor, which looks like it's not even a sensor. It looks like it's just a photodiode. Yep, that's just a simple photodiode. So yeah, the action of the laser is what produces the line scanning, and it just reads this out in sequence, as opposed to sensors that are a physical line. So this piece looks like it's just a bit of metallic paint covered plastic, and the mirror section is the same thing, I believe. And they even have a little counterweight on it. And this is the solenoid portion that goes inside the coil. It's not quite as fancy as the sensors on my personal barcode scanner, but I think these things are in a very different price range. I think this scanner alone costs more than that entire handheld computer.